Hey YouTube, John here, and this is the Nerd Report. Today we're going to be talking about dead things. And I'm not talking about plants, animals, or even famous people. I'm talking about a language. You guessed it, we're talking about Latin. As you may already know, Latin was considered to be one of the great languages of antiquity. It was the primary language of the Roman Empire, and for centuries it was considered to be the language of the elite. But over the past few centuries, it had been gradually phased out until sometime in the 20th century it was officially pronounced dead. But that's where I come in. I'd like to make the case to you that Latin may not be as dead as you think it is. First, let's consider what a dead language is. According to the Oxford Dictionary, a dead language is a language which is no longer in everyday spoken use. And yes, by this definition, Latin is technically dead. It's no longer used as the vernacular for any specific region or country. But if we look closely at our own language, we see that Latin is still very much a part of our everyday lives. For instance, it's estimated that around 60% of English words either come directly from Latin or owe their roots to Latin derivatives. Furthermore, if you look into medicine, law, or any of the sciences, you soon find yourself immersed in a sea of rich Latin-based terminology. But this usage of Latin does not stop in the areas of higher education. Modern-day spoken English is filled with Latin prefixes and suffixes. In fact, it is estimated that around 30% of the polysyllabic words used in today's mass media come from Latin. In addition, the amount of people learning Latin is booming. In the past decade alone, the number of students taking the AP Latin exam has more than doubled, and the number of schools who are teaching Latin has increased significantly. But why would these institutions and students put so much time into teaching and learning Latin? After all, it's a dead language, right? Well, yes. But there's still countless reasons to learn Latin. Many of these people learn Latin not because they plan on speaking it within society on a day-to-day basis, but because by learning the language they're given a new scope through which they can view the world around them. Though beyond this additional perspective, learning Latin offers many other benefits, the most noteworthy being the ability to better understand English. What most people don't realize is how limited our vocabularies really are. For instance, there's over 170,000 words in the English language, but the average English speaker only understands about 50,000 of them. But if you recall, around 60% of all English words come from Latin derivatives. So by learning this language, you give yourself the key to unlocking the meanings behind over 50,000 new words. This benefit can clearly be seen on the SAT, which in part tests on vocabulary, where students who know Latin score head and shoulders above all other students. But learning Latin doesn't just aid in the student's mastery of English. It also makes all other Romance languages, such as Italian, Spanish, and French, much more understandable. And possibly the most profound reason for students to learn Latin is that by learning this language, students give themselves the rare opportunity to have a true understanding of the original writings of antiquity. This allows the students to interpret these historical words without relying on the translations of another, almost as if they're being spoken to by the voices of the past. This brings us back to our initial point. Is Latin really dead? Of course, by definition, maybe. But as with all other non-physical entities within our society, it's up to us to determine what's real and what's not, what matters and what doesn't, what dies and what lives. Because Latin continues to be an ever-present force in our lives, shaping the way that we think, the way that we feel, and the way that we communicate. I, for one, am not willing to pronounce it dead. That's the Nerd Report. See you next time.